All right, welcome back to another edition of In the Green Bet Show. Justin here with Grant.
What's up?
Not a good showing last week. Got some bad weather luck, but also just got bad luck on the guys who did get screwed. I had Abe Answer absolutely choke a top 20 away. Munoz on the worst choke you've ever seen in your life. I think he finished bogey, triple bogey, something like that, to miss the top 30 by a shot. He was in fourth, and with 4 holes left, didn't top 30. That's not to mention all the guys who just got absolutely wounded, just maimed by the weather. On Friday morning when they stopped playing, all my guys were 2 or 3 under. Xander had just made a birdie to get to 3. Brooks was 2 under. Morikawa had just stuffed it to get to 2 under. And then, oh my God, it went so far the other way. And I still had Burns and Berger right in it. Berger he had no momentum. He'd make 2 birdies and he'd make the stupidest bogey you've ever seen. And Burns just collapsed. It was just a full-on vomit job.
It was horrible. Add Hoagie to that mix. Hoagie doubled 17 to get out of my top 30. I hit Damon 40, thankfully. I mean, it was still a dead heat because he missed a 2-footer on 17, but yeah, just awful. Just a terrible, terrible week. I actually enjoyed kind of watching it a little bit, but as far as betting, man, everything just went out the window. Complete shit show. That was one of those things where you could have guessed it right, though. There was an actual opportunity where you could have maybe gotten lucky, but it would have had to just been by, just pure luck. It couldn't have been any strategy.
Yeah. So, I loved Cam Smith. And after I had, put my outright card together and I was doing because I always put my outright together for, Monday night, because usually you can get better odds. So I did it Monday night. I liked Cam, but I hadn't dug in quite as much. So Tuesday when I was digging in for the show, I was like, damn, I really like Cam Smith. But I didn't add him to the card because by that time he was 20, 27, 28, and I already had a pretty full card. It sucks. I hit a top 20 on him, but I liked him so much, especially once we heard the weather was going to be shitty. It was man, that Cam's going to be amazing in that because he's an up and down monster. And then he just putted his literal nuts off on Sunday. Absolute crazy putting. It's so frustrating. But nevertheless, we move on and got to come back because it was one of my worst gambling weeks of all time. And it was all right there. I had all these guys right there and they just all went the wrong way. Just so bad. Sam Burns didn't even catch a top 20. He was freaking leading. I mean, with 18 holes left. So not good. But we'll see. It was really fun to watch. It really was. Random ass dudes up there. Good luck picking some of those guys betting wise, but it was such a weird event because you make 2 birdies, all of a sudden you're right back in it because no one was pulling away. Cam pulled away, then made his bogeys. And then he pulled away again. It was over. I texted you worrying about your margin, and then bang, he hits it in the freaking water from the trees on 18, brings everybody back into it.
So, yeah, Lahiri, how are you going to guess that, especially in an event that doesn't make any sense?
He's been awful. He's been literally horrible.
Tough. I mean, I put my entire life on the line with John Rahm. He got a pretty good draw. It looked pretty good. He was 4 off the lead, didn't have to play in the weather, was going to come out with those other guys, and he still just could not get it done. So
His game has been so weird. His ball striking has been so good, and then his putting's been shit. And then last week, I think it was he just drove it awesome, and everything else was just awful. He was just playing from the fairway the whole fucking time and just couldn't do anything. So it'll be interesting to see how he this is his worst stretch in a long time. So it'll be interesting to see how he kind of bounces back. But on to the Valspar, really good field. I think people thought all these guys were going to withdraw, but I think I saw 2 withdrawals today, Casey and then Doug Gim withdrew. But we've got JT, Hovland, Morikawa, Schauffele, DJ, Louis. Good field. Defending champ Burns, a bunch of guys. I like that because this golf course is hard this is a hard golf course that demands like a lot of things, I think we'll get some weird people in contention. If you go back and look at previous year's strokes gain data, it's a putting contest way more than people
Yeah.
want to admit. Like there are certain things you have to do. You have to be in the fairway. You got to hit a bunch of greens, but like if you don't putt well, you're screwed. And if you putt really well, you can make up for some average approach play because there's not a lot of birdies. So like you don't need putting to make birdies. You just need good putting to make pars. It's not as much about it. Approach play is obviously important, but it's more to me. It's a putting, and I'm going to lean heavy on some good putters this week.
Yeah, it seems pretty tight, tree line, dog legs. Like there's going to be guys clubbing down off the tee. You just got to stay in the middle and hit greens and not try to mess up as much as you can. I agree with those guys that give themselves opportunities. They just keep two putting, throw in the one putt every once in a while, throw in a birdie on that par five. That's super easy. I think that's the first hole, right?
Yeah.
It's the easiest hole in the course.
I think so, yeah.
So, get through 16, just, hopefully survive it. You're going to have a chance to win if you can do that for 4 days in a row.
Yeah, make your birdies on your par fives. Hang on the par threes. There's 5 par threes this week. It's par 71, about 7,300 yards. It's one of those courses that the course tells you where to hit it.
Right.
You can't just go do your thing. It's like, no, you have to hit it here. This whole dog legs at this point, you got to hit it here. You're not slicing it around trees or bombing over trees for the most part. You hit it here. Everyone plays from there. So it's like driving distance and that type of thing doesn't really matter. You need to be in that spot to score. And if you're not in that spot, you're probably making bogey because the rough's pretty difficult. The greens are pretty small and you can make a ton of bogeys out here. And if you're in the trees, like good luck getting on the green from there. So it plays a little like a Pete Dye where it's like he wants you to hit it right here and play from right here to right here. So good drivers and good putters are people that I will definitely be looking at. Obviously, you want to approach play, but those are the type of guys I'm looking at.
Yeah, that long proximity too. I think we can throw into some of our models. I mean, obviously, Paul Casey is like the long proximity model king, right? And he won it 2 years in a row. So, when guys have to club down and they just kind of they're all going to play out of that one little like area. So, everybody's going to have those long approaches. The par threes are long. You're going to sniff over, going to go over 200 yards on I think 2 or 3 of those par threes.
All of them are 190 or longer.
Okay, yeah. So you got a bunch of long proximity shots. If you can just play it safe, try not to mess up. I agree. There's going to be a type of guy in here that, if you can hit that putter, you got to have a chance.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's jump into the outright market here. I put together my card last night and this morning. I went straight up top and I grabbed DJ at 18. Vic is playing unbelievable. JT played good last week. Morikawa and Xander, I think you just throw it out. They played in like the absolute worst of the weather. So I mean, if you went up and grabbed Morikawa, I probably wouldn't blame you because he's so good. He rarely finishes bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I grabbed DJ. Shot the round of the week on Sunday. Putter was lightning hot, and he's one of those guys that he can play on any course. I'm not worried about his length disadvantage being an issue. He's one of the better long iron players, and his putter has been very, very good. He's sneakily been one of the best putters on tour this year.
Yeah, I like DJ. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to actually stop at Hatton. Hatton there at 25 is that number?
Yep.
Yeah, so he got 13th at the Players, second on a Palm Race, a long proximity player, plays good in difficult conditions, can play in the wind. Bermuda is his best surface when he's putting here on Fantasy National. I actually like Hatton. He's got a pretty good form coming into a course that I think he can compete at, especially if the wind picks up. I think that's a decent number. I think DJ is obviously better than Tyrrell Hatton, but I think that little grouping right there is kind of where I would stick to, even that Fitzpatrick number.
Definitely. I liked Hatton quite a bit. I decided not to bet him. I grabbed Fitzpatrick at 28 this morning. And then I got Answer at 35. I definitely thought about Brooks. I definitely thought about Lowry. I also grabbed Kokrak, but I got him at 36. Kokrak's been putting good, been hitting his irons well, has an extremely good track record here. I could have went with Hatton for sure. Hatton would have been the next guy if I didn't go Fitzpatrick, Answer, Kokrak.
Yeah, I like Lowry. You mentioned him. I like Lowry too. He was on my
He checked a lot of boxes.
yeah, my name thread I had tweeted out today. I really like him, especially for that style of golf that we kind of described earlier. That's
Yeah.
I like that. And even the wind, right? We saw him in those conditions a few weeks ago, competing for a win. So I like him also, and I think that I don't know. I didn't find a ton of guys after him that I liked.
That's the range right there that I like. 25, all those Hatton, Kokrak, Fitzpatrick, Lowry, Answer.
Mhm.
I maybe could have just picked all 5 of those guys and just rode them because I do think that's kind of a sweet spot, guys. And there's some guys playing really well. Fitzpatrick, not really sure what happened last week, but he's been playing amazing. Lowry's put up some good finishes. Kokrak's been good. All those guys are in pretty damn good form. I thought about Gary at 50. I think you can even find him a little bit higher than that. I don't know. His putter makes me nervous. He just proved a couple weeks ago that when it gets in that crunch time, the putter has some issues. I did go down farther. I'll give you one guess out of these next group of guys where I went.
Seabez.
Kisner played great last week.
Really?
Amazing putter. Not the greatest long proximity guy, but a good iron player. He'll be in the fair. He's super high on fairways gained. I just know with Kisner, when it gets hard and it's all about being in the fairway and making putts, like sign me up for that. I got him at 75. I think that's a really, really good number. Everybody's on Hadwin because he's amazing here. I think he's a former winner and he played good last week. No thanks. Maybe in a derivative, but he doesn't win golf tournaments. So
I'm not going to bet the 50 on Keegan, but I do think he's pretty live to compete this week. He'll definitely break your heart though, so I would be careful on putting your money
don't
there.
Watch him
but he's been playing really good. His putter hasn't just like chopped his head off, which is great, and his ball striking has been amazing.
Yeah, he's been an unbelievable ball striker. I didn't go anywhere else until Patton Kizzire. So I'm going to make my Patton Kizzire case. He's probably not winning, but at 130 to 1, it's pretty good bet. I was talking to you about this yesterday, and I tweeted it out on our Twitter. Over the weekend, he made 15 birdies and an eagle and only managed 5 under because he just drove it in the water a bunch of times and shanked it in the water on 17. Like, he played awesome. He putted his balls off. Look at that. 7.8 putting. Still wound up 22nd, despite losing 4 off the tee. This week, it's more about position off the tee than anything else. So I think maybe he can take a little less club, get it in play, and ride the ball striking. 4 straight events, gained on approach, some good finishes, good putter. He putts well pretty much anywhere. 130 to 1 on a guy who I believe he has a couple wins. Yeah, Sony and OHL. So could do worse. I just kind of like his profile, and based on how he played as good as basically anybody on the weekend, other than like 5 swings. So I think that he profiles pretty well for here.
Yeah, I'm going to jump back on Mito. I know he scared people off, but I like him over 100 to 1. He lost a ton of strokes last week at the Players putting. I don't really remember. Was he in that wave of the weather? I don't really remember.
I can't even remember. He was. I was not invested in Mito last week. Thankfully.
He missed the cut. I'm going to throw out last week. Last week made me so.
I'm throwing it out for basically everybody who played in the shitty wave. Like who knows?
But he before that, his play at the Honda was amazing. Besides his putter, right? I mean, that's just kind of the thing you get. Genesis, he got top 20.
Wiley says he's an elite putter.
Yeah, Genesis, he got top 20. But I mean, he has the potential, and I like him I like him way more over 100 than at these 40s and stuff we saw him at 2 months ago.
Yeah, another guy down here that I'll probably mention later, Martin Laird. His ball striking has been fan-freaking-tastic, but his putter has been no bueno. So, this range with the field, I don't really know the play.
He missed the 2-footer.
He did.
Fucking Joel Damon.
So, I don't really know that any of these guys are live, but there's some decent outright guys, some really good ball strikers. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to lean pretty heavy on putting. I normally wouldn't do that, but if you go look at the previous years, it was a putting deal. You have to gain at least a few strokes putting. I'm pulling it up right now. Last year, there was only one player in the top 12 that didn't gain at least 3 strokes putting, and that was Keegan Bradley, and he gained 13 strokes tee to green. Good luck. Like, everyone else putted their ass off, so it's like you have to putt good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to make your pars with your putter. You got to make birdies with your putter. It's yes, you can make up ground everywhere else, but if you're not putting good, you're not going to win. So, that's kind of my outright thing is I'm going to lean heavy on some guys who I know can putt. And I think it's like a POA mix. It's kind of the same thing we saw last week. It's
So
like a POA Travalis mix or whatever that braid is, the braided grass.
I did a rank of scrambling percentage of my model, but then I changed the difficulty to average and difficult. So just the average to harder courses. Yeah. And Buzadenhout was way up there. JT was way up there. Guys who can, I think these are the kinds of things you're going to have if you're going to try to win. Streelman, Neiman, Trainer, Mito's in there, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That may just be just a lucky thing, but
yeah.
But I like. I think you got to find that spike. If your guy doesn't putt well, I mean, this ain't the event. This ain't like some Will Z event where it's like Pebble Beach or some bull crap like that. So
yeah. You have to have good irons, but it doesn't matter as much as other places because a lot of people are missing greens and there's not a lot of birdies to be had anyway. So you just have to make sure you're making your pars when you miss the greens. And it's about your putter. It ultimately is to me. So moving into the derivative market, kind of the same thing. I'm looking for the same group of guys. That group that we mentioned earlier is super live.
Mm-hmm. Noren, he'll be probably pretty popular, but that's going to be
something. Again, I'm abstaining from top 10s. The only one I really considered was Vic because he's been absolutely lights out. But I'm a little. We'll talk about this when we talk about matchups, but I'm a little concerned that he might be kind of this. He might have he's due for an off week where he's kind of runs out of gas type of thing. But top 20s, Abe plus 180. I'll mention that later. Noren, Bradley, Bezadenhout, all those guys. Hadwin, Kisner, love all those guys. Woodland 275 is really not bad. He could be one of those guys that breaks even putting, but his ball striking is good enough to get him inside the top 20. Knox's ball striking has been elite for a couple months, so I don't have any issue playing the top 20 on him at that number. I don't mind Denny at 3-1 on a course where your driving distance doesn't matter as much and it's on your putter. He's one of the best putters on tour. That's the range. Kazire, obviously, I would be interested in Kazire. It's a weird field because you got so many guys at the top and then the middle's kind of not. It doesn't have the same kind of it's not the same quality, but there's still a lot of very good players. I don't even hate I don't normally go this low, but Lowry at plus 140, that's a fair enough number for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like those two. Tringali, I mentioned him in my thing today. He is not really in form, but he's had pretty good course history here. Fits pretty well for the course. Yep. Who was another?
Bubba's been amazing here, and he played good kind of last week. He had an amazing round in shitty conditions, and then he immediately ejected the next day. But he's been good here.
What was Neiman's top 20? Was it bad or no?
Neiman's top 20 is. I don't see it on here.
Or is he not in the field, but he's on Fantasy National? Maybe he dropped out.
I don't see him on the betting card here, but he must have withdrew.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't see him on any betting card. So this course would make a lot of sense for him though. No, Lowry, Abe, Fitzpatrick, Kokrak, all those guys I kind of bet outright. Woodland. I think that there's some pretty good value here. FanDuel obviously has some of the better lines like normal, but definitely shop your lines on those. Going down farther, top 30s and 40s. Are there some deeper guys that you're looking at that maybe popped in your model that you'd be interested in a 40 or a 30?
I got lucky with the 40 last week. I'm not going to push my luck. I will not have another 40 this week. That if you do that, that's a recipe for disaster. But yeah, Pendrith is a guy that I mentioned on my main
100%. He was one of them that I was looking at. Yeah.
He's a guy that I'm considering for my top 30. His finishes are pretty good. Like he actually finishes pretty well.
This is what I liked right here. Second in green and regulations game. Seventh in par threes, and he's 33rd in approach is plenty good enough for me.
Yeah.
Good in par fives. Now that number is going to have to be better this week, and obviously that number. But look, putting is fickle. It can change massively from one week to the next. So, and he gained last week on very, very similar greens. So Pendrith was 100% one of the guys that I was looking for.
Laird, but I think we mentioned him earlier. He was another
Laird,
one.
Popped 11th in my model.
And the other one I had was Buckley. Buckley was a long proximity player. Yeah, Hayden Buckley. I think this was strictly a model play, although his putting is obviously horrendous. He did make the cut last week, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe he's a little different, but
JJ Spawn, I think JJ Spawn kind of sucks at golf, but he's been playing really good. He missed the cut last week, did not putt well, but has been pretty good before that on a 30 or a 40. He's one of those guys who he doesn't get a lot out of the driver, so he needs to be in the fairway, and he that's where he usually plays from. So Svensson's been pretty good. He played in tough conditions at Bay Hill. Maybe you can go back to him. And if let's sort strictly by putting here. There's Denny. Every time he's very good at putting. There. He's really good on par threes. So that might be enough right there to carry you through, this week. If we go back to the odds board here, Streelman played great last week, 175 for a top 40. That's pretty damn good. Damon, 175 for a top 40. I think these are 40s, yeah. Damon for a top 40, 175. His ball striking is good. His putter makes me nervous. Molinari, plus 160. He's been a good putter in the past. I think he made a run on the third round. I don't know where he ended up overall last week. So maybe he's starting to show some form. These are pretty good numbers. You are famously not a 40 person, but I think that some of these guys are definitely in
Poston. There's another putter that could really carry you.
Yeah, he's been known to putt his balls off for sure. There was somebody else right here that I was trying to remember. Mito, your guy Mito, 160. Wiesberger, plus 165. He's a short game wizard. So if it comes down to just chipping and putting, he may be able to do that good enough to cash you a top 40.
Maybe I'll just add a Mito 30 on top of my outright and just hope that he kind of sniffs around up there.
Yeah, let's see here. 250. That's very good.
I'll probably do
that. Yeah, those 30 numbers are excellent. The only thing I keep having to remind myself is there's 10 guys at the top of this field that are really, really good. Really, really good. So, no, I think there's quite a bit of value there, and you'll see in my card. I'll probably try to do a better mix of longer shot 20s and a few more favorites. Last week I hit Cam Smith at only plus 160, but he's a little bit safer bet than some of these other guys. So I usually don't go that low, but I'm looking at it now. Fitzpatrick plus 150, Lowry plus 140. Those I may just grab them and see what I can do there. Matchups.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some right now. Prices aren't that bad if you kind of believe in your guy. Hatton over Fitzpatrick. Hatton is the dog in that. I think I kind of like that. He's even money versus Fitzpatrick. I know Fitzpatrick's just going to play good golf, and it's going to suck to have him, wingling around all weekend. Right. But I like Hatton here, and I don't really think he should be the dog to Fitzpatrick. Maybe that's just a variance thing, but I don't mind that at all. There's a Brooks-Fleetwood matchup where Fleetwood is favored.
I don't know what to do about Brooks. Last week he started off good, and then when he came back out in the weather, it was just a disaster. But he also played in the worst weather and got absolutely boned on the wind a couple times. So I don't know. I mean, once he was going the wrong way, he went the wrong way. Molinari over Schwab. I don't hate that at all. Let's see here. Kisner over Webb. I like that. Webb hasn't been playing awful. Like
Terrible.
he hasn't done anything. So I'll do that as well. I wanted to talk to you about Vic. DJ is plus 128 to Vic. Hovland's obviously been amazing. I don't necessarily want to bet against him, but I anticipate a letdown at some point here. Like at some point he's going to run out of gas. I think he's got like 4 top 10s in a row. He's played quite a bit, but he popped literally first in my model. So I think it's kind of like sacrilegious to bet against the person that's first in your model.
I'm going to push back a little on the logic. Like I don't really think you could bet the letdown. I don't really think that.
It's probably a good idea.
I mean, that's just saying that you're going against all the evidence, right? You're just admitting to yourself that the evidence isn't real, or the evidence is like,
I mean,
it isn't going to continue. But I get it. It's just hard when he's playing that well. He's young. He's so good. He's so good.
Look at the stats. They're just like unbelievable. If he would have chipped and putted well last week, he would have won. He would have probably gotten a playoff. He chipped and putted horrible on the last round on Monday.
If he chipped well, he'd have 19 wins.
That the gif of him saying, "I just suck at chipping," like that got a lot of play on Monday because he sucked at chipping on Monday.
Hit Sam 2 chips Burns that cost him 3 shots. Is a dog to Louis?
Blacklist.
Really?
This was a Twitter discussion with Brian Kirshner and CP. He's in Sharpie on the blacklist until future notice after that.
Wow.
He was in first place and then just absolutely could not hit a driver for like 24 hours. Like all of a sudden the driver was just gone. He was hitting all over the place. And then he didn't even top 20. He didn't even top 20. He was in first place. So he's a defending champ. But if he drives it like he did last week, guess what? He's fucked because this course punishes you if you don't drive it. There's water, there's dog legs, there's trees. I'm out on Sam Burns this week. I could be back on him in a few weeks, but for now he's on the no fly.
This is terrible juice, minus 150 Knox over Damon, but that's about as close as a lock as you're going to get to. Like, if everything just goes normal, like he's winning that.
Yeah.
So
if Damon putts like normal, it's not good enough.
Right. So, and Knox his greens and regs are so high. He's playing so well that he'll just play himself into some bullcrap placing, and then he'll win the matchup. So,
yeah.
But I'm not laying 150 on Russell Knox, but I would, if you're looking for something safe, that would be something to go for.
Russell Knox and do they do like top 3 bets for F1? Verstappen to finish in the top 3 and Russell Knox to beat Joel Damon parlay.
You can do podium. Yeah, you could probably do podium finish.
Yeah.
Adam Hadwin and Brian Harmon are the same price.
I'll take Hadwin. I know he's chalk as all get out, but
I kind of like that.
He's
also
played so well here. Podium finish. Verstappen's minus 330. You said the other odds was like minus 150.
150.
I think that'd get you about to even.
Verstappen will crash or something.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's gonna crash, what website are you seeing that bet on?
Rivers.
Yeah. I don't even know if anywhere will let you parlay.
So what do we think about,
that would be like plus money or like even money.
What do we think about Tringali? I know I'm the Tringali whisperer, but his form is shitty.
Here's what I would say about Tringali. He was bad until he wasn't for like the last 8 months or whatever it's been, but he was bad before that. So what is the more evidence that he was pretty bad forever and then he got good all of a sudden? Now he's kind of starting to look bad again. Is he just not good and just got hot for 6 or 8 months, 12 months? It was a little bit longer than that. He's been pretty good for a while, but
he's
look at his off the tee numbers.
Yeah, 5 strokes off the tee in the last 2 tournaments. I don't know, but is that going to be a little different because he's not going to use the driver as much this week?
he's hitting chloroform balls, or what the hell's going on? It's hard to lose 5 strokes off the tee. I guess here's what I would be worried about is he lost 5 strokes off the tee at API and Players. The similarity there is water off the tee, and there's water off the tee here in a few spots. So that makes me nervous. There's like I can't remember who tweeted it, but it was like, here's my list of guys I don't play when there's water off the tee. I just don't. Add Matt Wolff to that list, whoever that is, because just put him on the list because he'll hit it in the water 5 times in the tournament. But maybe that's, I don't know, maybe he's just spraying it so bad. I don't understand. His form here is up and down, to say the least. 3 good finishes, 3 missed cuts. Don't know what to do with that.
But his putting has been pretty good here, right?
Gained 3 times, lost 3 times.
Oh, well, there you go. So
it goes to my
you
got to putt good here.
But I love him, but I for sure will be on the Tringali first win. I can guarantee you that. But it ain't coming this weekend, and I might just have to let him lay this weekend.
If I gave you, if you gave me plus money that he'll never win a tournament, if you give me even money that he'll never win a tournament, I'd bet it he'll never win.
Oh, he'll win. He'll win in the fall, like a couple of years from now.
If he was going to win, he could have won already.
He's winning.
All right, well, I'll take it.
All right, even money. Even money both ways?
Who wins first, Mito or Tringali?
Oh, fuck. Probably Mito, just because he's so young that he'll have more years. I don't even know how old Tringali is.
I think he's in his 30s. I'd say he's like
34. I don't really think Mito is winning anytime soon, though. So I don't like
so either. That's kind of the point.
Tringali will win. I will make it happen.
Tringali's 34.
He might win some event that I go to. That'll be cool.
Yeah, the John Deere. Yeah. All right.
Who's a matchup that you like? Did you have any that you specifically like?
Oh, I wanted to ask you about Morikawa plus money over JT. This course is perfect.
I'm scared of JT this week. I feel like he might be like a little revenge tour after last weekend.
Yeah, or he just misses putts again and does dumb shit. Like, he played awesome, but at the same time got like nothing out of it. He was 3 under. He finished like 30 something. Didn't he finish like 30 something?
Yeah, he fell off at the end because him and Rahm are like near each other. I can't even look at Rahm anymore. Rahm should be banned from everything. His numbers,
JT finished.
Rahm's betting number should be 50. He won't win.
Who wins first, Tringali or Rahm?
Tringali. That's a fact.
Oh, man. Oh, CC Big Randy from No Laying Up. He's a famous Rahm doesn't win enough guy. He doesn't win enough. Start winning some tournaments. But hey, I don't count the Euro wins. Paul Casey has 15 fucking Euro wins. He can't win either.
Fitzpatrick. Add Fitzpatrick to that list, then if he's not going to win either.
Who wins first, Fitzpatrick or Tringali?
Well, come on. That's just because Fitzpatrick, just because he's playing well right now, but he'll go back in the gutter in 3 months.
Hey, Fitz is the best Bermuda putter on the whole planet. He's going to win on Bermuda one of these times.
Yeah.
He should have won that freaking API that Molinari won. One and done. This is kind of a hard week because it's a normal event, but there's a bunch of good players, so you have some options. I don't have a clue where I'm going.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to react because I used John Rahm and he won me 46 grand. I
used Rory and he got 90-some grand. So.
And you could have used Anirban Lahiri and got like $2 million.
No one used Anirban, if you can believe that.
I don't know. I haven't used Lowry. I don't hate that.
I was getting ready to say Lowry is on the
Abe.
List. Fitzpatrick is on the list. Abe is in theory on the list.
I kind of like that Abe play.
I
think he was most tipped, though. Was he most tipped this week?
I'm sure he's on the list at the number he was given out at.
What about DJ? Have you used DJ?
Yeah, I used him at the fucking Farmers where he's dominated and then he missed the cut.
You could get crazy and use like Kisner.
I would save Kisner for like RSM or Harbor Town, where he's like won before. I don't think Kisner's track record here is like. I don't know. There's a time and a place for Kisner. I'm not positive this. I do think he's a good outright pick, but blacklist. No thanks.
Dude, he's second to my model.
Yeah, I mean he's always way up in there in the model, but he's Sam Burns. He was a perennial choker, and all of a sudden he won a couple times, and it's like, oh, maybe he's not a choker. He's a fucking choker.
He's gained 6 strokes and 4 strokes last 2 weeks on the greens. Does that mean
he's a great putter? He is a great putter, but his driver is all over the place. I watched him play a bunch. He could not hit the fairway. He was so lucky. He should have been out of the tournament on Monday morning. He tried to hit it in the water like 3 times. He did hit it in the water once and made a bogey. It was a great bogey from the water.
But what about these guys clubbing down? I might talk myself into Burns.
You do that. I think it's between like Lowry, Fitzpatrick, that group. How big a sack would you have to do Keegan Bradley?
You should go to jail. You should never use Keegan Bradley in one and done.
What about Louis?
He's not a bad one either. The problem is like, are you picking winners or are you picking guys who finish high?
Finish second.
Yeah.
What about Hatton? Actually, Hatton might be my guy. He's volatile.
Yeah,
but
you're probably not going to use him again unless you use him in a major.
I'm not using Hatton in a major. Definitely not. I still have Vic, JT, Morikawa, and Rahm for majors. That will probably be the 4.
If you have a bunch of studs left, why wouldn't you use Vic?
I'm saving him for a major. This tournament doesn't pay enough. And like I said, I'm worried about him on a little burnout.
All right. I think I've almost talked myself into Burns, but Lowry and Abe are the other 2 on my list.
I think it'll be between Hatton and Lowry and Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
That would be my guess at this point. I want to save those guys at the top. Honestly, I would like to have Louis for like a WGC, something like that, where he's been good in WGCs in the past. Although I think there's only 2 now. But
how has he played here?
Lewis?
Yeah.
I don't know that he's.
Let me look it up.
4 top 20s in his last 4 tries here.
It's pretty good.
3 straight finish. He's 16th, 2nd, 8th his last 3 tries here.
His approach was bad last week, but that might have been a weather thing. His approach was bad at Honda too.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a weird player. He was in it and then shot himself straight out of it on Monday last week. Yeah, I mean, if you took Vic and was just like, look, I got to get back in this, that should maybe be my mindset, but I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
I need a winner. I haven't hit a winner.
I've hit 1 top 20.
Bullshit.
I hit Xander, who choked that win away. Yeah, no, that's where I'd go. So,
okay.
Best bet for me, Abe, top 20 plus 180. You were just talking about how you like Abe. Course makes a ton of sense for him. His form is like not maybe as good as some of the other guys at the top of the leaderboard, but there's a reason everybody's betting him. It's because his style of play fits perfectly. Like he doesn't hit it far. He's a pretty good putter, good chipper. He's gained on approach in 4 or 5. I'm happy with that. He's not been producing good finishes. He's got 4 straight finishes between 33rd and 43rd. That's not great, but he just needs to like put it all together. Like he'll gain a bunch off the tee here, but then not gain approach, but then gain a bunch of approach, but not gain enough putting. So I think this course makes a lot of sense for him. Plus, 5th and 16th in his 2 starts here. So
yeah, I'm going to stick in the same range. I'm going Lowry 140. So we're going to have similar bets this week as far as what they are as far as on the board. I like Lowry. I mentioned him on my thread. He hasn't played this event since 2018, and he made the cut. He just lost around the green in putting, but I don't mind that at all. He's had top 15 at the Players, top 5 at the Honda. His irons have been unbelievable. Honda, his putter was really, really, really good. I think everything's kind of shaping up, and I probably he might even be my one and done that I'll be hoping he may even win this thing.
Yeah, I like Lowry a lot this week. I may even, if I got to look at my outright card a little bit more and see if I have room for somebody else, because it would be him or Hatton that I would go back and add for sure. Lowry, his form is really, really good, and this course sets up well for him for sure.
Yeah, his stroke game by round difficulty, his difficult category is by far and away his best, which I really like that. We saw that in with
good chipper and putter.
Yeah, good chipper and putter. He can play out of the fairway. He doesn't have to like keep up with bombers or nothing, here, which is great. His windy numbers are great. Who knows what the conditions will be like? Obviously, hopefully, it won't be like last week, but it could get windy. We've seen this course get windy. Yeah. It's difficult. I like the style we talked about going, here to here, finish your spots, scramble, make pars. I think he fits, and I might just ride him all the way this week.
Yep, I don't have any problem with that. That's going to be it. I hope we're set up for a bounce back week. It was a pretty poor showing last week, but what are you going to do when you get conditions like that and half the field just gets absolutely screwed? So we'll see. My card will probably be out tonight or in the morning, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, let's add in our F1 bets here at the end. I have Carlos Sainz, and I'm adding.
I'm going to pull it up real quick.
Who was the one
I bet Verstappen to win at 2-1. My idea being he won like half the events last year, and we know. Look, the testing is just we don't know what they're really showing at testing, but once their last package was the fastest lap anybody ran at testing. Right. So it's like, all right, that at least shows they've got pace. Verstappen's amazing. He's a really, really good qualifier. So if he can get out front, maybe avoid wrecking. That's kind of the only thing I'm worried about with Max is he gives zero fucks about wrecking. So
yeah, they have 3 days of practice too, or it's like 2.5 before qualifying. So like they have time. It's not like these cars are just like getting shipped over. Actually, like testing was in Bahrain. So they're not even moving. They've been there the whole time. So
yeah,
I like that. I had Sainz. What was Sainz's number? What's he now? Is he 25, 20?
To win the event?
Yeah.
8-1. He was always low because Ferrari had all the Leclerc and Sainz are the third and fourth favorites. Yeah. You can get Lando at 28 or Perez.
I think that was 20. Higher. I think that was way.
It was.
Really?
I think it was never higher.
Or maybe Lando. Lando was the high one?
He's 28.
Okay, so I think I like those two guys with the max. That's 3. It's probably too many, but I think Sainz is a real chance.
Sainz plus 125 for a podium.
That's not a very big number. I wish that number was a little podium.
There's 20 guys, and half of them have no shot.
Yeah, it's just the variance, and like if you're back, you're
so screwed. Here's the thing: if Red Bull and Mercedes are good, that means that Sainz would have to beat 2 of the Red Bull Mercedes drivers. I think people are selling Russell a little bit short. Like if he may be awesome. Like Bottas finished in the top 3 a million times last year and the year before that and the year before that. Like if he's in a good car, he's probably going to finish top 3. And Perez came on at the end of last year. I would be a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, I'm not like the biggest F1 nerd ever, but maybe qualifying matters a little more this week. Maybe being up there, and I think Ferrari has a good chance of being up there based on what we've seen so far. Obviously, we have no idea what it means, but that's the information we have, so that's what I kind of like.
I don't know a lot about Bahrain, the track, as far as I think there's some pretty good places to pass from what I was reading today. So I don't think it's one of those. It's not like Monaco where it's like qualifying is everything. You got to be out front. But Lando plus 125 for a top 6.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I might add that. I might add that with Max and Carlos.
That's not bad at all. Top 10. Now this is going to sound crazy. Magnussen plus 260 for a top 10. If Haas car is actually pretty good, I think he's a good driver. Plus 260 for
you're a maniac if you put a top 10 on a Haas car.
They didn't score a single point last year, So I might as well just go ahead and bet him to score the first point the first
You're
race
a
out.
maniac.
Oh, man. You can get Red Bull plus 105 to win. That I just take Max at 2-1. Don't do that. Ferrari
I see
plus
190
250
on
to
my
win
screen.
qualifying.
What are you looking at?
Well, I think it's moved to 190, but it was 2-1.
Bastards. Yeah, I like it. It should be a fun weekend. I can't wait to get back into it. I haven't finished the season yet, but it should be pretty
I haven't
soon.
either.
It's gonna be should be a fun season, especially if the cars are a little bit more the raceability is a little higher. They can actually, stay together a little more, which would be nice.
Yeah.
Um,
FanDuel has him. FanDuel has Lewis at plus 240.
ooh.
That's it. Lewis wins a lot.
He wins a shit ton.
Yeah. Verstappen's 2-1 over there. They've got a lot of bets. First car to retire. This is maybe your Haas bet. If Mazepin was still driving, that's a lock because he'll fucking wreck on the first lap.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Ferrari plus 250 qualifying winner.
I didn't even know you could bet that.
Oh, yeah. They've got FanDuel has $1 million. That's on DraftKings, though. They have $1 million bets. You can get matchups for practice. You can get practice matchups.
But where's the race? Or they wait to put the race matchups out?
I would guess so.
Winning margin. Whoa. Under 4 seconds plus 120. Over. Whoa.
There's a lot of bets on here.
I might have to research some winning margin bets. That's crazy.
Yeah. Haas double top 10, 10-1.
That should be
That's
100-1.
I was gonna say that should be I should just say here, please donate to the DraftKings fund. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm excited for this weekend. Hopefully we can bounce back. Maybe see a fun F1 race, see a fun finish on Sunday. We'll probably be playing a little bit of golf. It's supposed to be nice here in Illinois.
Yeah, it's qualifying and race are both 10 a.m. Central Time.
I like that. I don't have to get up.
Which is really nice. You don't have to get up super early. Even if you're on East Coast, you still don't have to get up. Yeah, so that's a big thing. Hopefully they start doing that more. I know the time zones and all that jazz, but when you can get races outside of 7 a.m., like that's perfect.
Yeah, for the West Coasters, it won't be at fucking 4 a.m. So
right.
All right. Well, that'll do it. See you next week.
See ya.